Hello, welcome back. I'm Jay Star.
And I'm Alish.
Oh, okay, we're being straight this time. Okay, cool. And we haven't seen orcs in some time, and we're gonna get a good welcome to them with some orc warriors.
It's been so long, I can't even remember. Like, you had to have fought orc warriors before.
Yes, I think we fought a couple of them, like maybe one or two in a fight. And there's, what, 4 of them right there? Yeah. Maybe a 5th if there's one hiding in the bush.
I mean, you got some young, some warriors, and a berserker, so...
Yeah.
Might
so
be a 5th
probably
warrior, might be a 5th young.
Yeah. So it's gonna be like 4 or 5 in one. Forgot to actually pay attention to that when I was fighting this one.
So you can already tell how little that you're respecting them by the fact that you're actually just running forward. I mean, you're doing it to claim the height advantage, but...
Yes, I am absolutely doing it to claim the height advantage. If this was a completely flat map, no, I would not be running Klaus forward like that. This is to take the high ground and try to force the melee into a position that's advantageous for me.
I faced down a vampire and only took armor damage.
I don't think they even hit Klaus. Like
They
last
hit
fight,
someone.
Last fight I think the only damage was one of the skeletons scraped Rail Pozo's axe's armor.
Oh. Oh, I'm Klaus. I'm invincible.
That reminds me of, wait, who is that guy in the Bond
Yeah.
GoldenEye?
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah.
I am invincible.
And then explodes into liquid hydrogen or something?
Well, he had the dumb
The
exploding pen.
head, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was Boris.
Boris.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably some sort of horrifically stereotypical Russian name.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's going to be 5 warriors then.
I mean, I really do like the hat.
The helmets with skulls and crap.
Yeah, that's the problem with trying to claim the high ground against orcs who just do a charge. And
Yeah.
push you back.
Well, warriors do that.
Right.
The young get charges that will land stuns,
Stuns,
but they
yeah.
won't move you. Oh, I think a long time ago when we first started seeing orc berserkers, I pointed out one that had the dire flail as the most dangerous weapon you'll see them carry. And some people in the thread kind of rightly pointed out that wasn't necessarily technically true. I mean, they do ignore shields, which I think makes them more deadly. But that berserker has a mansplitter axe, which will absolutely live up to its fucking name if it hits you.
Yep, those axes have the hit the head and body attack. And that's really fucking bad from orcs.
It just has a humongous amount of damage, just raw damage attached to it. Also, I was just checking the combat log to show that Travelog hit that dude for 100 and some damage with the great sword to the orcs warrior's body armor, and it's just, you know, it's moderately scratched. It's like, oh, that kind of did something. Just to give an idea of how much armor these goddamn orcs have.
Yep. And I know that you bring it up in the post, but they have big numbers.
Yeah.
They have a ton of hit points. Their armor has a ton of armor points to it. I mean, there's a good argument for, like, the anti-orc weapons being bows, because they don't usually have much in the way of, like, armor penetrate. Like, you could use crossbows, but they have enough HP to weather crossbow bolts.
Right.
So you use bows to soften them up, do some morale damage, because enough of them don't have shields.
I would take archers with crossbows and crippling strikes to try to put an injury or 2 on them. Like, that berserker, I mean, besides being almost dead, has 3 injuries on him right now.
Yeah.
And he is just all kinds of fucked.
And then the other thing is maces. Maces for stun and fatigue damage.
So, that was a waste right there. Orc warriors cannot be stunned and cannot be knocked back. So, rip one part of that mace idea.
Right.
The second thing is, I don't really think fatiguing out orc warriors works. Because we're going to see as the fight up there goes, and as Klaus starts wailing on a dude with a mace, even though they can end a turn exhausted, like totally fatigued out, they seem to recover more than enough a turn to completely fuck your shit up.
They have better fatigue recovery than people do, because in part because they are using the orcish weapons but don't take the fatigue penalty.
Right.
But it is... I mean, yes, you can't stun warriors. You can stun young. And I believe you can also stun berserkers.
Yeah, probably.
And just anything that you can do to disrupt their ability to murder the shit out of your people is really good. It may not actually be possible to fatigue them anymore, but it used to be an absolutely fantastic strategy. Because you would tire them out and then they wouldn't be able to do anything other than take a single swing. On the other hand, a strategy that relies on letting them get an attack on you, every round for multiple rounds, may not feel like the best strategy. Obviously, like everything else, you just want to kill it before it gets the chance to attack you.
That usually is the best tactic, yeah.
But with orcs, it's just not possible.
Right.
They just take too many attacks to bring down. Travelogue can't kill an orc in one hit unless he gets like a head hit.
And not even then on orc warriors.
Right.
Like, I don't think Travelogue landing a body blow to an orc warrior that had no armor would even kill it. They just have that big of an HP pool.
Right.
Sigmar's in trouble, though, bleeding. And they all, orc warriors, I think even orc all come with cleaver mastery, so that bleed is 10 points a turn, so he took an extra 20 just from bleeding. Which, again, leads me to one of my big complaints in asymmetry, where we're fighting these things that have upwards of around 300 HP raw. So, if I land bleed on them and I bleed them for 20 damage after an extra hit, it's really not much. But, my dudes have maybe 60, 70 at tops. 20 bleed damage is a shitload to us.
Yeah, and with the DLC, the asymmetry gets much more pronounced, because you're fighting things that are explicitly monstrous. I mean, we're not really going to be going into the DLC much here, but you have things like Yetis and giant spiders and... I forget exactly what they're called, but they put your guys to sleep.
Oh, right, yeah.
And in some ways, that asymmetry is actually, like, neater and, like, easier to deal with than the fact that orcs are just walls of hit points and armor that do a ton of damage. Like, because when you're fighting the monstrous things, the fact that, these are things that, hit everything in a line with all of their attacks and move very slowly. It's sort of easier to handle that because you don't engage them except at range, with polearms. You essentially treat them like monsters. But orcs fight like the bandits and the other knights and everything else that you've been fighting. They're more obnoxious because the undead, like, vampires have one trick. They teleport. I guess they also regain HP.
Yeah.
But they're not exceptionally weird. They don't even have all that much in the way of HP. You've one-shot them, and they've only been rescued by 9 lives. So aside from the teleporting and health drink, they operate by the same rules. Orcs do not. Orcs operate on a completely different hit point scale. If you had one orc warrior in your group, like, it would represent a substantial power increase to your entire band of brothers. Because they are just that much better. Even if their, weapon skills and stuff aren't. It's only that the AI doesn't really know how to use them properly. That you
they do a good job, like that orc pushing up to threaten, I think that's Mr. Yar. That's a good call.
Yeah, but realistically, if you were controlling the orcs here, you would probably inflict significant more damage on them, and possibly even win the fight.
Right.
That's what I mean. The AI can't take full advantage, otherwise there wouldn't be a game.
Right.
And that's true of the vampires, that's true of everything here. Like, at some point, the AI has to not be perfect.
But even after the Undead Crisis and the Necro Savants, like, yeah, these 5 Orc Warriors have done more to damage us than pretty much all the most recent fights.
Yeah, and honestly, I was not
That's
I was not expecting these orcs to give you this much trouble.
Orc warriors are always a serious deal. Napster's got his hand fractured. I think that was, Sigmar up there, nearly bled out. Like, if he takes another hit, he's probably toast. Orc warriors are pretty much always a threat to fucking two-shot you until you get into, like, plate or scale armor.
At which point it becomes 3-shot.
Yeah, pretty much. See, even those 2 orcs up there, that Klaus has been macing, and then they've been doing things, are really still very exhausted, but it doesn't seem like that's really going to slow them down. They're still taking 2 swings at me every turn.
Well, they also have a fairly substantial fatigue pool, too. It's not just that their HP is high, their fatigue pool is also very high. It's probably commensurate with their HP, actually, and we know that they might have as much as like 150, 200 or more. I don't know, maybe somebody can go through the videos and track more or less what the damage is.
Probably been data mined, or just put on the wiki.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, you can always just, like, oh, here's a fresh orc that has, like, minimal, if any, armor left, and, oh, he's dead. And then, you know, hit them with a weapon and measure, like, you know, 100 HP damage, you only took off this much of the bar.
Right. And it's not just that they have more hit points, it's not just that they have, you know, relatively high stats, because, like, the high melee attack, melee defense stats, whatever. Those are things that you have access to.
Somewhat low melee defense.
Okay. Their melee attack is pretty decent.
Oh yes, yeah. They have plenty of attack and they can soak hits, but they're not exceptionally skilled at not getting hit. And in fact, warriors and berserkers have penalties to ranged defense.
Well, bigger targets are easier to hit.
Yeah.
But it's not just that they have more HP. It's not just that they're, you know, big walls of meat. You know, they're wearing armor that you can't wear. That's basically as good as the best armor you can get.
We could wear plate armor and have about 300 armor points.
Right, but plate armor is tremendously expensive. It's like you can recover. You never get to
murder our maximum fatigue.
Probably, but I mean, in theory, like with the undead stuff, you can use the shitty undead weapons that are fragile and heavy. You can't wear the orc armor. You can never recover the orc armor.
Yeah.
And while you can recover the orc weapons, they are basically useless to you.
I've had a couple of instances where I've used orc weapons. So, the one on the left is using the one-handed axe, the head splitter.
Yeah.
And it might have been under the previous version, but I remember specifically having a brother named after Armin using it, because he would have it in his belt, and with fast hands, he would switch out to it, because with Axe Mastery, it could crack a standard wooden shield in your pit, and then he would switch back to his weapon. So he would just pull it out, crack a shield, and put it away. And I think I've had someone use the Man Splitter two-handed axe once before, and it murders their maximum stamina, but it was an exceptional guy with like 3-star talent and stamina, and he was able to get like 3 or 4 swings in it in the battle, and if they hit, they killed something.
Yeah. Miguel doing some serious armor damage there.
Yeah, the Warhammer, super friggin' useful.
Yeah. Even Francomatic got some pretty decent damage out.
Pikes, also pretty good, yeah. I mean, everybody did, because there was just a lot of orc to...
There was a lot of hit points to chew through. Shin,
a few injuries.
Unfortunately, still being a disappointment.
I mean, yeah. I mean, flails are nice for getting around shields, because, look, they're the orcs' shields, because you're never going through that.
Right. 72. I mean, yes, okay, they're metal shields, but they're also minus 22 fatigue. Like, you could use the orc shields if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could use all the orc gear if you really wanted to, but just, you're not going to have any fatigue left over after you try.
Yeah, and that's the big problem with them. And that's the thing. It's the orc equipment is, if it weren't for the fatigue, it would be just better. You would use it, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's not feasible.
Well, I'm tired of these orcs already. Just they're dangerous and they're mean, and you've expounded upon the problems of dealing with them. So,
right.
Well, we'll wrap it up here. We'll see more orcs in the future. Not this update, but soon. We've got plans, and we'll see you around for those.